What's up, everybody? Mel here again with Sunrise Compass. Everybody has a credit card and we use them all the time, but you may not realize what's going on behind the scenes. There's a ton of processes, players, and regulations that govern credit cards. It's a lot to unpack, so I interviewed two of our experts on all things credit cards. We broke it into three parts, one on fundamentals, one on credit card processing in D365, and one on how to approach credit card data migrations. All right, enjoy this three-part series. Everybody has a credit card, right? And we use it all the time. But you may not know a lot of the key participants in that whole process. Stash, can you help clear that up for us?
Sure. So there's three key players in here. First of all, there's the merchant. That's the easy one. That's whoever our customer is. Patagonia, 511, those are the merchants of the equation. Then we have a card issuer. And the card issuer is the bank or entity that sends us credit cards in the mail so we can all do our retail therapy thing. The largest one in the world is actually American Express. They operate in over 170 different countries and territories. So that's an example of a card issuer. And then there's the payment processor. For us, D365 out of the box, that will always be Adyen. Other popular ones include PayPal, Stripe, and my personal favorite that I see at every farmer's market, Square.
Got it. Okay, so now we have like a vocabulary base that we can talk from. Eric, can you tell us more about how credit cards work?
Sure. You can think about it in the context of a variety of different scenarios. You could be paying with a credit card at a gas station. You could be online making a transaction there for an order that's going to arrive later. You could be making a call into a call center to add on an item to an existing order, for example. But all of those different scenarios, regardless of which sales channel you are actually purchasing from, there's two main components that we have to think about: the authorization and the capture. The authorization is going to be that first step. So the customer's ready to pay. And at that point, the processor is going to go out and find out, is this a valid card? And most importantly, are the funds actually available? So we get a real-time response back to D365 that either says that this is approved or declined.
Okay.
And in the case of an approval, that's something where now we can actually complete that sales transaction with that payment authorization. The second component happens a bit later, so that's the capture side of it. So if you think about it, you're at a gas station, maybe you're getting a pending authorization on your account immediately for $100. Later on, when it's determined that you actually pumped $75 worth of gas, that's what the payment processor together with the issuing bank is going to capture against.
So Eric, credit card authorizations, they're kind of like wilting flowers, right?
That's a good way to think about it, Stash. If the authorization doesn't actually get captured, that will just naturally drop off over time, normally 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
Eric, great examples of the auth capture process, but now we have to start talking about PCI compliance.
It's very important, and that's true for any merchant that's processing credit cards. So PCI is really a set of standards that the payment card industry
PCI.
produces. PCI.
There you go.
Clever acronym there. And so what that really is there is just a governing body that says this is what you need to do to protect customers' data.
Okay.
At its simplest form, some of the things that we've got to make sure of, that we're not writing down credit card information, that we're not storing credit cards in plain text or sending it over email, putting it in Excel, et cetera. And that's really a big benefit to working with a payment processor like Adyen. They have a certified solution that's already PCI compliant. So as those regulations change over time, our customers are going to be able to stay PCI compliant. And it also just helps you get to market a bit faster. You don't have to go through a lengthy certification process. But really one of the most important things is just to make sure that we're never storing credit cards in an unencrypted format.
But if we can't store their data, Stash, what do we do?
We do a little thing called tokenization. Tokenization is the process of taking sensitive data, a credit card number, and turning it into not so sensitive data, a bunch of random characters.
Gotcha.
It's no different than when we were kids and we'd go to the arcade and put our hard-earned quarters into the machine to get tokens back. Those tokens represented our money, and we could use them to play games, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Varun, win prizes, and all that. And then the key to that is that a token is only valid where it's issued. So if I had leftover tokens in that scenario, when I went home, my dad couldn't steal them to go to the driving range because they only worked at the arcade.
Yeah.
So that stops fraud and my dad ripping me off. So for our customers, what that means is, let's say somehow you stole a payment token from Patagonia, you couldn't go and use it to buy a pair of pants at 511. And then the second key part of tokenization is that when we're converting from sensitive to not so sensitive information, you don't know the sensitive information. So let's say you're adding a card on file to a customer in call center, that pop-up, it ain't D365. It's an iframe to the portal. So D365 never knows that credit card number that's being converted into a token.
Okay, that is a lot to digest. So much so that we can't even fit it into one episode. So we will see you on the next Sunrise Compass. See you later.